Again, as I stated before, this is an ongoing criminal investigation. We are limited as to some of the details that we can give out to you for obvious reasons. First, let it be stated that I've told you the number of deceased in the building, at the hospital, and at the secondary crime scene. It's our policy and protocol that we have to establish positive identification of those victims. That is a time-consuming process. That's something that's going to take a great deal of time. The medical examiner has already arrived on the scene. He's going to work very closely with us to expedite that, get that done as efficiently as possible. As I told you, the families have been assigned a trooper or an officer as a line of communication. That was done specifically to ensure the families that they have constant communication with this ongoing investigation, and they won't have to sit and watch television news or anything else. They will be the first to know any of the progress that's made as this investigation continues on. As I stated earlier, the assets that were utilized initially was certainly when the call came in, Newtown Police Department immediately responded and immediately called for help. Surrounding local agencies sent officers, and the Connecticut State Police sent all off-duty and on-duty troopers to respond so that they could immediately gain access to that building and begin that search process that I alluded to before. We had the State Police tactical team. We had K-9 teams out here. We certainly had Trooper 1 in the air, and it was probably to keep some of your helicopters away, quite frankly. But we had every possible asset came out to this scene the minute that this alarm came in, or this call came in, and it was certainly to do everything we could to protect certainly life and property. The community has been outstanding in supporting this effort. As you can see, you've taken over their park, and they're showing up. They're offering condolences. They're doing everything they possibly can to support the victims, the victims' families of this horrific tragedies. The FBI crisis management team is offered to respond. Is going to respond here tomorrow to assist in crisis management, to assist not only with the families and the family members, but with all the first responders, the police, fire, EMS, all working at what I described before as a very horrific and difficult scene. Certainly local mental health crisis intervention teams have been on scene and have been here all of the day working and assisting and helping. I just want to make it very clear that there were 18 children that were pronounced dead at the scene. There were 2 children who were transported to area hospital and were pronounced dead at the hospital. There were 6 adults that were pronounced dead at the scene. And obviously the shooter was also pronounced dead at the scene. I don't have much more detail about that secondary scene, but there is a related scene that we discovered as we were continuing the criminal investigation, and specifically investigating the shooter. And you probably saw, and someone asked me on the way in here about the bomb squad. And yes, we brought all our assets in case they were needed. And when we went out with Newtown officers to search or to execute search warrants or to examine other possible secondary scenes, we took all those assets with us to ensure that they were right there immediately so that we could react if it was necessary. That's about all I have as far as details are concerned. I want to give you one more briefing, probably just before 6 o'clock. We'll try to get back up here for one more briefing. I'll take a couple brief questions, but I must again tell you that there are certain things we cannot discuss at this time. I will take you right here, sir. No, sir. There was one person that was injured that suffered an injury and did survive, yes. I'm sorry, I can't confirm. I know about the secondary scene. I didn't have time to get into detail about that. I'll try to do that for 6 o'clock. I'm not going to confirm the identity of the shooter. We're not prepared to do that yet. So we have a tentative identification. We're still working with that. So we're not going to confirm the identity and put that out there. We will identify the shooter at an appropriate time. Just for our investigatory purposes, it's not appropriate to do that right now. Yes. Again, it's part and parcel of what we do. I told you initially that we will leave no stone unturned as we're looking at every facet of this investigation. Whether it's the shooter, any of the victims, we're going to look at everything. And we certainly will go in and out of state, and we'll work with fellow law enforcement, including federal agencies, if we need to answer every single question to exactly what transpired here. And it'll be a time-consuming process, but we'll get it done.
Where are the specialists now?
Right now, one shooter, yes, sir. It was K through 4, kindergarten through 4th grade. That's the school. They were all students of that school, sir. I don't know the grade they were in. I'm sorry, I don't know that. One section, 2 classrooms. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I didn't find that out. I'm sorry. Your question? No, everyone's been, and that's part of the process, and that's why it took us long to get here. That's a very good question. Are there any students that were unaccounted for? We had to ensure that we accounted for every single student in that school, and that includes maybe someone that was absent for the day because of illness and didn't come to school. So that was part of the process that we had to go through, and now we have the identification process, which is even more difficult, and so it's going to be some time before we're able to give you that information. It probably won't be available till sometime tomorrow.
Identify the weapon?
Did we identify a weapon? We have seized the weapons. Yes, we have, sir.
What kind of weapon?
We did not. We will not discuss that at this time, sir.
Trying to reach parents at this time.
We've been in contact with all the parents. We would not come up here until we've been in contact with all the parents, and we've been communicating with them since they arrived here at the scene. They've been fully informed, and that's why it took so long for us to come up here. Go ahead.
What is plan?
That's it's a good question. Everyone believes that it's something that first responders do, that law enforcement does. But I can tell you, we've provided counseling for the first responders because this was a very tragic, horrific scene that they encountered. It's not something that we want to see. It's not something that we see every day. So that's one thing that we have done, and the colonel has made that perfectly clear, that those people are to be spoken to and receive crisis counseling as required.
You have to be the face here telling us what's happening, but Newtown is a very quiet, beautiful place, and I'm sure this is something that is not an ordinary thing that you deal with like big cities.
The lieutenant can certainly tell you he's a Newtown officer.
As authorities and
Sure.
person to see this tragedy of this magnitude, how would you describe it has impacted you personally, not only as a law enforcement officer, but as a person?
As a person, the first thing I thought about was my own children.
Talk right in here.
Lieutenant George Cinco.
What's your name?
Lieutenant George Cinco, S-I-N-K-O.
Can you tell us, as a resident of Newtown and also law enforcement, I'm sure you have this is the worst that you have seen?
This is most definitely the worst thing that we've had experience here in town. Tragic. But right now, we're concerned about the families of the victims. Our officers are professional, and we will deal with this as well.
Can you describe the scene with the parents? Is there a place where people are getting together, and are there counselors there for them? What's happening? What's that scene like?
The local hospital, Danbury Hospital, has offered their crisis intervention counselors. They will be available at Reed Intermediate School, which is on Wasserman Way, and they're available right now if need be, and they will be there all weekend.
Is there a place where parents are gathering? I mean, and what's that? Can you describe that?
The parents certainly have gathered at the local firehouse, which is adjacent to the school, and we've done our best to comfort them and try to reassure them that we've done everything we can. But as mentioned, it's a difficult process to confirm the status of an entire elementary school, and we need to be right when we do that. It's healing. We just have to think about the families right now and do everything we can for them.
Lieutenant, was one of the teachers killed the shooter's mom?
We can't confirm any of that right now. The investigation is ongoing. There are still parents there, yes. I don't have a number for you.
When did you realize you got what the magnitude? How long did it take you to realize the magnitude?
Minutes after our officers were there, they realized, what a horrific scene we had there. I don't have the exact timeline on that. Certainly our officers responded immediately, and as soon as they realized what they had, we obviously asked for all the resources we could get. All right? Thank you. Anything, Paul?
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right.
Let me just
Thank you.
finish.